You're good to go. Start. Yeah? Good now. Good stuff. Well, we are week 2 of our series of I Have. Yeah? You remember last week? Lavab. Alright, who was not here last week? Watch the video. So, those who were here, what did we talk about? Have you ever had noodle soup? And you look at noodle soup sometimes and it just kind of doesn't make a word. And then there's times where you get the fork out and you move it around with your fingers and you move the soup around and makes a word. Yeah. Let's try those 4 words again, as if we've made words, all right? Not... Here we go. Ready? What's number 1? Right. Number 2? Value. Number 3? And number 4? That's what we are, right? That's what we're doing here. And tonight, I want to talk to you about searching for purpose or searching for significance. And so that can seem like a big word. And last week we talked about the whole idea of your signature being proof and how people... and there was a funny moment last week in the debriefing because the guys picked on me for 2 words that I used last week. And one word was counterfeit, all right? People were saying, what? Instead of counterfeit. You know, whatever. I said it's the plural version. I know, who cares? You know, it's, if I say it, it's right. You know, but anyway, so counterfeit, it means I like counterfeit because I'm from England. You know, not really, but and then the other one was forensic. It's actually forensic. You know, so I had a friend of mine. I talked about Gary. He was in forensics. You know, and I used to bag him all the time saying he was a flower sniffer, so I called it forensic, you know, and so that's what, but anyway, the guy said there's 2 words, you guys, so all good, forensic and counterfeit. We good now? We okay? Let's sort that out. All right, and if you're with us, and by the way, Jeff, if you're watching tonight, thank you for admiring me last week, I appreciate that on Facebook. I think we're in the midst of saying I admire you. And Josh Baldry put on my Facebook page, Phil, I admire you, and then Jeff, one of our business partners, put on I admire you. So he must have been watching, so good stuff. So, you know, there's about 600 people that view Monday nights, you know, around the world. So that's really cool, live streams, and then people that can't get here catch up. So it's good. So tonight I wanted to talk to you about this idea of significance, and every single person on the planet wants their life to count for something. Now, you might be at a point in your life where you think, nah, I'm not really feeling it. You know, I'm a little numb about life right now. Don't really know where I'm going. Don't really know what I'm doing. Pressure's on from school. Pressure's on from the rentals. You know, there's pressure on from mates. There's just pressure all around me. Don't quite know. That's okay. So out of tonight, we might be able to give you some tips to be able to discover again. Usually, when your significance or your sense of purpose is destroyed, it's usually because of trauma. It's usually because something's happened in your life and that's caused you to kind of lose your way a bit or lose any sense of value or hope or future. So, and this is a great way at times, if you're in a relationship or you get into a relationship over the summer break, summer lovers, you know, if you get into that over the break and it doesn't go well, like New Year's Day, right? So I want to give you some tips on how to recover from those kind of moments. Would that be cool? Yeah, because sometimes it's just like, heartbroken, never want to see you again, and can't live, he or she was the one. So, sometimes we just feel, like I said, a little bit numb about where we are, and we just let life happen. How many of you have had seasons in your life where you just kind of wake up and you just sort of let life happen? Got real no plan. Okay, put your hands down. That's nearly the whole room, and hands and feet there. How many of you just kind of like it when just life just happens? How many of you like that kind of space, yeah? Great. The challenge with that, they call that an ambivalent life, which is, who cares what they say, whoever they are, you know. But I remember meeting with a guy who was a skipper of one of those huge yachts that did the Sydney to Hobart, you know, race. And I remember saying to him, and this was an ignorant person saying it, is wind really that important? And it goes, like that. It's nice timing, you know. So, yeah, I know. And so he said, is what? I said, you know, how important? And maybe I'll rephrase it. Of course, wind's important. It's got to fill the sails, got to make the boat go, you know. I said, how important is the wind to you and how strong does it need to be? And he said, that's the whole reason we tack. And that tack is where you see them zigzag. They change the boom over, that big swoopy sail that kind of swings around. They're chasing the wind. And so a race that could go from here to there ends up going from everywhere. You know, they sort of zigzag to get to it. And what can happen is, as they go past one boat, they're tacking at the same time. If they've got a little bit more juice in their sails and they go past, they pinch all the wind of the boat behind them, and boom, and away they go, and that person's like dead in the water. And that's a fantastic manoeuvre that they do. And good skippers, good captains know how to do that really well. Thank you. They tack in front of people. They tack in front of their opposition, I guess, or their people they're competing with in order to get ahead. And the same for us can be like that in our life. Sometimes we can feel like our life is just kind of getting blown by the wind and there's no real purpose. And other times it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm just sort of cruising out here on the waves, you know, just kind of not much happening. And then you can do that for a little while and you think, maybe I need to sort of go somewhere. You know, maybe I should put a sail up and, you know, blow this way, you know, or blow that way, you know. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to sway with me, all right, because we're on that. Now, if you get seasick, just sit still, all right? Or vom on the person next to you, you know. Now, some of you are going a bit too aggressive about it. You know, we're not going. All right. So that's a nice little motion for you. So today, I want to talk to you about that kind of idea. One of my mentors, John Maxwell, always talks about this. These 2 points in your life, 2 significant points in your life, and one was the day you were born, and the second one is the day you find out why you were born. Now, right through my life, people have said to me, you need to find out what your thing is, you want to try and do with your life, you know. And for my parents and growing up, it was like you find a job and you stay in that job. That's not so much in this generation. This generation is one life, many careers, and that's okay. You know, that is okay. Some people will just find a pocket and they will just sort of sit in that, and that'll be their career for all their life, and that's really important. And usually if you're somebody in the medical field, that's a pretty good thing, you know, because you're discovering new things. You know, if you're going to be a pilot, that's a pretty good thing to be, you know, for the season, you know. But I love that feeling that when he says that, you know, the day you were born, the day you find out why. Now, I found my why when I was 14, but the reality is, does that mean that's all I am? So here's this person, I say, yep, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to work with young people. And then that defines you as this person. But the reality is there's more to my life than that, and there's more to your life than that. And so when we search for that, that identity, that sense of purpose, that sense of significance, we can find ourselves just kind of people passing us, and we just get left dead in the water. Like, how come that happens for them? How come they always get the opportunity? How come they seem to catch the wind? How come I never get a chance or a break, or nothing good comes my way? And the reality is that the more we say that, the more you get it. The more you get less wind. You know, the more you get less opportunity. And so we need to be people who are really focused on, what do I need to do and what position do I need to be in order to catch the wind ahead of other people. And that can be a really challenging kind of experience for you. So here's the thing. When I was growing up, I was in primary school, and there was this girl there. Have I told you my penny story?
Yeah.
I've told you because, you know, that was a beautiful moment we shared, Mary. But there was this little blonde girl when I was in primary school. Her name was Penny. And yes, she used to wear flowers in her hair. You know, she was a little bit of a hippie. And I loved that. I loved that about her. You know, she was, I had a crush. You know, I didn't know what love was, but I knew what rant was, and she was it. And so when I was in primary school, I was in Belgrave Heights Primary School. And I was sitting on the oval, and I remember Penny walking towards me across the oval. It was like an angel, you know. She had this lovely little floaty dress on, you know, a little band of whatever those yellow flowers are you tie together in your hair.
Flower crown?
Huh?
Flower crown?
Down the line thingies, yeah, flower crown, I love that. And she was coming across, and I went, oh, that's the only words I could come up with. I didn't know really a lot of words at that point, and then I got a little frightened, you know, because she was coming right for me, you know. Anyway, she gave me a little kiss. Little cuddle. No tongue at that age, but you know, it was a little kiss, a little peck, you know. I know. You know, it was a beautiful moment, and it's still sort of 45 years later, I can still see Penny floating across the oval, you know, and with her flowers in her hair and her dress, you know. And if you've ever seen Forrest Gump, you know, Penny was my Jenny, you know, and so she was that gal. And I remember about a week after that, her affections went somewhere else. That has to be Colin. $5 in the bucket for the charity. Yeah, $10 in the bucket. He's going to answer it, isn't he? Someone help him with silence on that phone. So, the thing was, I didn't know what she wanted. I didn't know what I wanted at that age, you know. I just thought she was a pretty girl, you know. She was a riant kind of lady. So here's the thing. I want you to think about that moment where you might have been in love with someone, you know, where you just think, oh man, he or she is the rant. Do you know that one? Yeah? How many of you got a rant in your life right now? Yeah, all right. Now, I'm not discouraging that. I think it's encouraging. It's spring, you know, and it's love is in the air, all that crap. You know, so the reality is, right, sometimes when I was going out with Penny for about 3.5 days, I thought, you know, it was the longest relationship ever at 6, you know. And I remember that when I went out with her, and then at the end when her affections went elsewhere, I thought to myself, she's the one, the only one for me is Penny. That's it. And now, at my age, I've known a couple of ladies since then, and the reality is every time I bumped into a particular individual, I thought to myself, they were the one. Have you ever had that? We've had multiple relationships, hopefully not at the same time, but that would be wrong and hard work. So the reality is that I found myself feeling like I was never going to recover from that one thing, that one relationship, that one person. The reality is I did. And sometimes when we're trying to find our purpose in our life and our significance in our life, we can feel like this is the thing I want to be. I want to be a race car driver. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a jet pilot. You know, is that what they call it? A jet pilot? Fighter pilot. Oh, sorry. You want to go to Hogwarts? Cool. You know, you might. I don't know.
Everyone's dream.
Yeah, it's mine. You know, so the challenge, guys, it's yours too, Mary. I know you were saying that just the other day. You know, we are designed that for some reason that when we commit to someone, to something, that we think that this is the one thing that we're going to do for the rest of our life. And it's actually not true. So when somebody says to me, you need to find your purpose or your significance, and we find it hard to do that, it's because we're looking for this one thing, this one person that could be the thing, the person that you're going to hang out with. And the reality is you might have multiple encounters throughout your life with someone or with different people, and each time you might think that they're the one. But the reality is that they are not, because they're no longer, and then you've gone on to the next one, and so you think now they're the one. Now surely this is the one, you know? And then that one sort of goes nowhere or somewhere, and then you think, oh, it's over.
It might take years to find the one, and it might just take a day.
It might just take a day. I do know people that have fallen in love in 3 days and got married in 9, so that was and they're still together, you know, which is amazing. So them 60 years later.
Well, that's what you would think.
Broke my heart. You know, so the challenge for us is quite simply, right, is that we can think that there's only one thing for our life, but there's not. And I was thinking about this throughout the week, and I was thinking, geez, you know I love youth work. I know it's my why, it's the thing that I want to do. But then I started to realise that I'm also a dad, I'm a man, I'm a leader, I'm a business. I own multiple businesses. I run bridge builds. Well, I turn up here, let's put it that way. You know, everybody else runs the joint. I just rock in, you know. I'm a business coach for certain people. I do counselling for others. I'm an importer. I import stuff. So it's like, wow, I've actually got a variety. Hey?
Are you in Leicester?
I don't know.
A master, are you the master of bridge building?
Oh, a master. I'll be the mister. I think a master is a young person.
It's more the face.
Face! The face. Don't know if you want this face. But anyway, let's move along. Anyway, so the challenge is that sometimes we can think that we can only have one person in our life. We can only do one thing with our life. We can only find one purpose in our life. And it's not actually true. So I was talking to a couple of the guys throughout the week and I said to them, what is your purpose in your life? They said, don't know. I said, well, how are you finding out? They said, I don't know. I said, so has the wind in your sails stopped? Has the wind in your sails stopped? Has somebody come past and pinched your wind, so to speak? You know, has somebody come past you and ripped off the wind that was meant to fill your sails? And the reality is, you could just lie dead in the water from that experience and think, there's no more for me. There's no more relationships. There's no more future. There's no more opportunity because I had a bad experience. And that's what happens when we experience pain and trauma. We stop and we think, there's no more for me. There's nothing left. And here's the thing. I read this quote today and I loved it. And so I'm going to read it to you. I can't remember the lady's name, but I'll have to acknowledge her. So whoever you are out there, well done. Good job. You can't think your way into purpose. You have to do your way into purpose. You can't think about what is going to be your purpose. So at Bridge Builders we talk about do it afraid, you know, and I got this. It's about taking risk and going after opportunity. You can't just think about the purpose for your life. You have to do it. You have to do things. You say, well, I might get hurt. I might fail. It might not be where I want to end up. That's exactly right. You might not. But imagine the things along the way that you will discover about you when you step into that. I remember there was a young girl that used to be part of Bridge Builders many years ago when we were based in Mount Evelyn, and she was absolutely convinced that she was going to be a youth worker.
Is that Isabella or Isabella?
I don't know. No, it wasn't her name. And within about 200 hours of her doing her placement with us, she wanted to be a travel agent. All right? So no longer does she want to be a youth worker. We put her around some environments of dealing with some young people, working with her, and she says, no, this isn't for me. Today, she is a marriage celebrant. And she's doing amazing. And she absolutely loves it. And she's an incredible marriage celebrant. She does a fantastic job with young couples, and she's very creative and quirky, and she's just wonderful at what she does. So here she was thinking, years ago, I'm going to be a youth worker. That's all I want to do with my life is I just want to help young people. Within 200 hours, that had changed to be, I'm going to be a travel agent. And not long after that, she realised, I think I actually want to be a marriage celebrant, and that's the pocket that she sat in. But she had to step in and do in order to find out, that's not what I want to do.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. And sometimes we think we'd rather somebody else trial and error and not us. But that's not how we learn, and it's not how we get opportunity. And it's not how we do relationships either. You have to step in. You have to risk. Don't you, James? Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, James. I won't look at your girlfriend yet. So the challenge is, in our head, right, we can know stuff and we can think, oh man, all the reasons why not to do something. Why not to let the thing of life breathe into your sails, into your heart, and make you, force you, compel you to actually jump forward into something you could do with your life. Nice. So the challenge is this, right? Every single one of you at some point in your life, you're going to have this point where you hit this wall about significance, and it's something you're going to crave. And you will not be satisfied in your life until you find this thing or these things that help satisfy you. Now, people say to me all the time, Phil, you're so busy, we can never get with you, it's all this and that. I go, yeah? What do you want me to... What's the opposite of that?
Doing nothing.
Yeah, sitting in my office, waiting for the phone to ring or something. That would be, what sort of life would that be for me?
Procrastination.
Boring. Frustration. How long do you reckon I would survive?
No.
No, I'd be out. Yeah, no, I'm gone. You know, I'm out. I love a busy life. I love it. You know, I love having multiple things going on in my life. Does it frustrate people?
Yes.
Does it frustrate me?
No.
Yes, at times it does. But the fact is, I love it. I love the fact that your life is not just about one direction.
Get off the stage.
Yeah, that's what I say. So the challenge, guys, quite simply this week is as we look at I have significance. You have significance. This series is about finding out what is your significant place. What is the thing that fills your heart, your sails, that helps propel you forward. And that can be frustrating if you try and sit there and think about it rather than just do, out of the belly of your heart. So in here, intestinal fortitude they call it, or guts is the short term for it. In here is the motivation for your entire life, not here. I don't know about you, but when there's something that I love to do, I was out the other day, I was at Flemington Racecourse, it was 5 degrees, I don't know, and I'm sitting at Flemington Racecourse, drifting away a couple of moments. Where do you think I was?
Sleep on your Harley.
Thank you very much. Good job. I was dreaming about being on my Harley. Thinking, oh baby, she's my penny. So there's that moment. I kiss that tank every time I see it. But the reality for me is, here was I dreaming about this thing, and I know that in a very short space of time that was going to be a reality. And the thing is for you guys is you can sit back and you can just watch life, stand by and think, I should, coulda, woulda do something with my life, but I don't. And somebody else comes past and pinches the opportunity and you go, you say those words under your breath or out loud about those people and you think, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to learn how to tack in the right direction to fill the sails that you have with the direction you want to go. You can stand on the deck of your ship just swaying backwards and forwards and go, the wind's over there. You can just go, the wind's over there. Everybody else is enjoying the wind and you're standing there going, geez, I wish I was over there. What do you have to do?
Work for it.
Actually
Yeah,
do something.
you actually have to do something. And that's what we're talking about with purpose. It's not about just thinking about your life as significance. It's about doing. Do what? Do anything, but do something. Just step in and do. Who is it? The Nike dudes? Just do it. You can take there. I'm going to teach you some Latin tonight. And it's going to be a cool one because you're going to love it. Now, please, we might have to shut up because it's got rude words in it, But you'll be able to say it in Latin under your breath. And unless your teachers know what Latin means, unless they look it up, they won't know what this means. But we are wired, guys, for purpose. We are wired for significance, not just survival. Sometimes we're in our week, we just feel like, ugh. When you wake up in the morning, what goes through your mind when you wake up in the morning?
I want to go to sleep.
Yeah. In my room, I have to leave the curtain slightly open because Calvin sleeps with me. I can't see him in the dark, And when I get up for a wee or something in the middle of the night, or I want to find out where he is, I'm scared I'm going to step on him, throw him off the bed or something like that. So I leave the curtain open. What happens at 5:30 in the morning? So the sun comes out and I was like, and my eyes are trying to remain shut, but I can't keep them shut because the sun is beaming in. And I'm going, it's waking me. And I just have to reach over and try and fossick for the drawstring, and try and pull the curtain shut so I can have, another 3 minutes of sleep.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's a lot. Well, we keep hitting that snooze button, so 9 minutes matters, so...
Kind of across the room, so you don't just reach over to your side table and you actually have to get up in the morning to turn off the alarm.
That's too hard.
I don't want to... What she
That's
said, I don't want to do that.
Too hard.
So the challenge for us is...
How to get out of bed?
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, here's the thing. You need to begin to take your mind and change your mind about how you're going to see your day. If you wake up and go, oh crap, another day, that will determine how much wind is in your sails for the day. Now, I'm not talking about being tired. I know what it's like to be tired. I'm talking about the attitude of like, shoot me in the face. It's morning. So I'm talking about if you wake up in the morning, and I want you to test this for 7 days. Wake up tomorrow morning and go, you know what? No matter what comes my way this day, I'm going to step in. I'm going to do. I'm going to take an opportunity today. I'm going to take a risk. One thing per day for the next 7 days. You will be in a different place in 7 days than you are today or tomorrow morning. So, want me to teach you some Latin?
Yes.
All right. All right, we'll say it in our best Latin voices. Everyone got Latin? Anybody know Latin? Sweet! So you can't check, but you can check this out. This is legit, right? I want you to say this. Illegitimi. 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 Yeah?
It sounds like you're saying legit.
Well, it does come from that, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Illegitimi, non. Yeah. Oh, hang on a second. I've got to put my old man glasses on, right? No looking, right? Oh, yeah, I've got it. Yeah. Oh, dog, I heard that. Cheeky bugger. Carborundum. Like carbonara, but carborundum. Illegitimi. Non-carborundi. Carborundum. Do you know what it means?
Something.
Don't let the bastards grind you into the ground. Isn't that a cool saying? I love Latin now. The translation, the physical translation of that is don't let the bastards grind you down or grind you into the ground. Illegitimi non carborundum. It means to simply don't let life grind you down to a point where you feel like you've got no life left within your being. So this topic tonight is that I have purpose and I have significance. This will be something that will haunt you and chase you for the rest of your life unless you do one thing, and that is make a decision to move from here to here and breathe in. So I want you to do this, right? Put your hand on your tum-tum, right? And just do this. Breathe in. Biggest breath ever. Hold it. No breathing out yet, just holding it. You're holding it. It's good for the core. Well, don't let it go yet. We're still holding. I'm talking and holding it. So, ready? Ready to breathe out? Breathe out. So in the morning, that idea of filling your sails is your personal world in the morning. Are you going to breathe in the morning and breathe out into the sails of your day? The decisions you're going to make, the purposes you're going to have, the places you're going to go, the people you're going to meet, the adventures, the risks, the fears that you're going to face this day. Are you going to take that or are you not? You'll only find out your purpose and your significance by doing, not by thinking. Thinking blocks the doing. So tonight when you go into your packs, I want to encourage you to just maybe mention to your pack leader or to one another the one thing that you might want to change this week that you want to have a crack at, or that you've found out that over the weekend you've got an opportunity at this week. You're going to say, all right, I'm scared, I'm doing a little poo, but I'm going to have a crack at this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing this week. And remember, I have purpose. Say that. I have purpose. No, you do. I have significance. You've got to say the words out loud from the matter, right? Now I can see whether your lips are moving or not. I have purpose. I have significance. Now some of you just went, and no, that's fine. That's up to you. You still said it, cheats. So guys, this week I want to encourage you just quite simply is don't let somebody else cut across your bow as you're doing life, as you're sailing through your life. Don't let someone else cut across and rip off your wind and you stand there and go, that should have been mine. You make a decision for you. You need to make a decision. You can't wait. I can't wait for Mary to come along with me and say, oh, let's do this together, Phil. You know, I can't wait for that. You've got to go on your own steam. So breathe in, you breathe in nice, and you let it out, and that's going to launch your day. When you wake up in the morning, say, today's going to be a great day. No matter what comes my way, it's going to be a great day.
Today's not going to be a great day.
Today is. Stop it. All right, we're going to go into packs. Let's do that. Yeah. All right, let's go. Do we hang on to these?
You know what? I'm so grateful to be alive.